Adesh Adesh, Namaste. Welcome back to the Empowered for Tantra channel. Today we're going to talk about the suitability of the individual for the tantric path. Now, there is no tantra without sadhana. Sadhana being a disciplined spiritual practice. So therefore, who is suitable for sadhana in tantra? So Tantra has divided the suitability of individual into three categories based on the Gunas. The Gunas are the material aspects of nature. So we have Tamas, which means inertia. We have Rajas, activity. And we have Sattva, or balance, harmony. Now let's look at the first category of individual, Pashu. Pashu are mostly in the material mode of inertia with some rajas or activity. So these individuals, when we look at the word Pashu itself, means animal. So these are people who are closer to their animal nature. They're more animalistic and impulsive in character. They are driven by their lower instincts, in other words. Okay? So Pashu, in fact, comes from a Sanskrit verb pak, which means to bind. A Pashu is a bound individual, bound to their senses and their lower instincts. These individuals are classified in Tantra as not suitable to practice Tantric Sadhana. So there's a misconception in the West especially that people who are addicted to substances such as alcohol or drugs are suitable for the Tantric path. They are not. Drugs and alcohol actually binds one. Drugs and alcohol actually creates inertia, both in the soma and the psyche. So people with severe addictions should not practice sadhana. They should seek treatment for their condition, and if they are able to go beyond their current addiction in the future, they may, and underline may, qualify for the Tantra path. So I know people read several books on Tantra, same, for example, The Left-Hand Path of God by Robert Svoboda, or have seen sadhus in India smoke marijuana all day long, or are fans of Aleister Crowley, and all of a sudden all these individuals think they are Crowley themselves. They are not. So there's no Tantra without discipline of body, of mind, of emotions, of control of the senses. And if you can't manage that, then you are not suitable for the Tantra path. So we go then to the next category of individual, the Vira, which means the person of heroic disposition. They are deemed the most suitable for the Tantra path. These are individuals with both Rajas activities and Sattva, or balanced harmony in the composition. Rajas is activity, the hero, the warrior. In Tantra, We deny no thing, whether internally or externally. It's a path of facing self and facing life squarely. There are no escapisms in Tantra. And going back to my previous statement about the Pashu, drugs and alcohol are a means of escape. The Tantric does not escape reality. So, there's no renunciation on the Tantra path. The only thing we renounce is not anything outside of ourselves or anything that's part of ourselves. What we renounce is our ignorance of our true nature. What we renounce is thinking that we are bound by our mind or our senses. We renounce our conditioning given to us at birth, through culture, through religion, through any ideologies whatsoever. Tantra is about reclaiming our innate divinity. And that takes a heroic disposition to do this in daily life, in the body, here and now. Not some distant future, not in some other world. Heaven and hell are more psychological than geographical. We carry and disperse our own hell, and we carry and disperse our own heaven, depending on our state of consciousness. Furthermore, the Vira path is divided into two categories. The right-hand path and the left-hand path. The Dakshina Marga and the Vama Marga. Right-hand path is more meditative in nature. It uses a lot of imagery. The left-hand path also meditates, but is more literal in the expression of a hero. He or she is the actual alchemist, transforming every experience into an offering from and to the divine self, going beyond the paradigm of opposites. And when one does this, one achieves the state of the siddha, the perfected being. Yeah? He becomes an adept. He's gone beyond duality in this world, between pure and impure, night and day, and has reconciled, has integrated the polarity within self, male, female, within, without, above, below. He's become a siddha. He's realized the union of Shiva Shakti within himself or herself. How? Through the awakening of the Kundalini Shakti. That Shakti, the Divine Mother within self, to reunite with the Divine Father, Shiva, the principle of consciousness itself in the Sahasrara chakra. The divine, the true divine matrimony. This is the Kala, the one that has awakened and risen the Kundalini Shakti. The one who has experienced the divine marriage within of Shiva Shakti. He's become a Svekshakari. A Svekshakari means one who can do as he or she pleases. Because they're not tied to the normal concept of pure and impure, of good and bad. Because their mind is totally absorbed in the divine self within. In that space, there are no more karma. One is no longer in effect. One is at cause and beyond. One becomes the ultimate sovereign, or what's called chakra vaktin, a world ruler. One who rules over their mind, one who rules over their senses, one who's truly a divine enjoyer. God and the goddess resides within that one individual. He sees through with the eyes of the divine. He hears through with the ears of the divine. He tastes through the tongue and mouth of the divine. He feels through the touch of the divine. He smells through the nose of the divine. His body is a temple of the divine. His mind, his or her mind, reflects the consciousness of the divine. Then he becomes a Divya, a divine being, while still in the flesh. A god, a goddess in the flesh. Both transcendent and immanent. And that is the true meaning of Tantra. Transcendent or tangible transcendence. Tangible transcendence. Tantra. The awakening of a God, goddess self within. And yes, one must qualify to walk this razor edge path. And going back to one of our previous videos, this is why one needs a living guru who has walked that razor edge path in order to guide the spiritual aspirant of a Sadhak. So yes, both the guru and the student must be tested. This is not a path of political correctness in the sense that everyone is accepted. One must qualify. One must qualify both in regards to walking the path, to learning at the feet of the guru, and the guru must also qualify in order to teach and guide. Any questions? Please email me at empoweredthroughtantra@gmail.com and I shall answer your questions. Jai Ma.